There are wounds we carry that words cannot reach. Pains buried so deep that time alone cannot heal them. You sit with them in the silence. You walk with them through the days. And you wonder if anyone sees, if anyone understands. But there is one who does. Jesus says, your pain has a purpose. Not because pain itself is holy, but because nothing in your life is wasted when placed in His hands. Not one tear, not one loss, not one sleepless night. When surrendered, your suffering becomes soil, and in that soil, God grows something eternal. He knows pain, not from a distance, but from the inside. He entered into it, bore it, felt the crushing weight of it. On the cross, He didn't just suffer physically. He bore the full weight of abandonment, betrayal, fear, grief, injustice. He knows what it's like to cry out in agony and feel unheard. He knows what it's like to be misunderstood. He knows what it's like to be wounded by those closest to you. And still, He says, your pain has a purpose. The cross was not the end of His story, and it is not the end of yours. Pain may speak loudly, but it does not speak last. When Jesus rose, He didn't erase His scars. He showed them. They became proof of redemption, evidence that suffering was not the final word. And the same will be true for you. Right now, your pain may feel pointless, heavy, endless, but He sees beyond what you feel. He sees what's forming beneath the surface. He sees the strength that suffering shapes, the compassion that brokenness births, the faith that pain refines. You don't need to pretend it doesn't hurt. You don't need to rush your healing. But you do need to know this: your pain is not for nothing. The pages of Scripture are filled with people who were refined by suffering. Joseph was betrayed, enslaved, and imprisoned, but through it, he became a vessel of deliverance. David wept in caves, hunted and broken, but through it, he was shaped into a king after God's own heart. Hannah cried through years of silence, but through it, she birthed a prophet. Paul was beaten, imprisoned, and shipwrecked, but through it, he wrote letters that would change the world. Even Jesus was made perfect in suffering, not because He lacked anything, but because suffering was the road to full identification with us. Your story is not over. Your pain is not wasted. Your wounds will one day testify. Your ashes will one day sing. Because Jesus says, your pain has a purpose. It's hard to believe purpose exists when the pain is raw, when the night is long and the answers don't come, when you beg for healing, for relief, for change, and all you hear is silence. But in that silence, something holy is happening. Jesus doesn't waste suffering. He transforms it. You may not feel it now. You may not see how this ache could ever be used for good. But remember, seeds don't grow in the light. They grow buried, pressed in darkness, watered by what feels like loss. And yet, in time, they rise. So it is with your soul. Suffering is not a sign of God's absence. It's often the place where He is most intimately present, where He meets you not with explanations, but with Himself. Look at Gethsemane. Look at Calvary. Jesus didn't bypass the cup of suffering, He drank it. He didn't skip the cross, He endured it. Not because He had to prove something, but because He wanted to redeem everything. And now, when you suffer, He sits with you in it, not watching from a distance, but weeping with you, strengthening you, whispering in the middle of the pain, this is not the end. He is a God who turns graves into gardens, who takes what the enemy meant for evil and births something holy. You may not feel strong, but He is strong in you. You may not feel brave, but He is faithful beside you. You may not feel whole, but He is healing you, slowly, deeply, completely. So don't despise your tears. Don't curse the ache. Bring them to Him. He is not ashamed of your sorrow. He is not impatient with your process. He is not scared by your questions. He is the God who meets you at the tomb and says, "Even here, life is possible." If this message resonates with your heart, if you believe someone else may need to hear it too, I invite you to like, comment, share this truth, and subscribe for more reminders of hope. Your voice might be the whisper someone else is waiting to hear. Because sometimes, our healing begins when we realize we're not alone. Jesus never promised we'd avoid pain, but he did promise we'd never face it alone. And in every season of sorrow, he offers something deeper than answers. He offers himself. Your pain is not a detour. It's not a punishment. It's not meaningless. It is the ground where God is planting something eternal. One day, the story will make sense. One day, the pieces will come together. One day, the tears will be wiped away. Until then, trust this. Your pain has a purpose. Because your pain is in his hands. There is something sacred that happens in the place of pain. When everything is stripped away. When the noise falls silent. When the only voice left is the whisper of Jesus saying, "I am here. You are not alone in this." That truth is easy to hear when life is bright. But when the shadows stretch long, when prayers feel unanswered, when your heart cries in secret, those are the moments when truth becomes breath. Jesus weeps with you, just as he wept for Lazarus. Even knowing resurrection was moments away, he did not skip the sorrow. He entered into it, because love doesn't bypass pain, it walks through it. And he is walking through it with you. Sometimes the purpose of pain is not what it produces in the world, but what it awakens in you. A compassion you didn't have before. A resilience that surprises even you. A depth of faith not built in comfort, but forged in fire. Suffering reorients us. It shows us what matters. It reveals what cannot be shaken. And in that refining, we begin to see more clearly. Not always the why, but the who. He is still here. He is still good. He is still writing your story with grace. You may think the brokenness disqualifies you, but in the kingdom of God, brokenness is the birthplace of beauty. Cracks are where the light gets in. Wounds are where glory seeps through. The pain may not disappear today, but it will not always feel this heavy, because he is healing you even now. Not always in visible ways, not always in the timing you expect, but in the quiet work of grace, he is mending, rebuilding, redeeming, and every moment you choose to keep going, every breath you take in faith, every whisper of surrender, he is there. The road may feel long, but there is purpose in every step. Your scars will speak, your journey will inspire. Your tears will water someone else's garden, and your healing will one day become someone else's hope. Because nothing is wasted in the hands of Jesus. Your pain has a purpose. Not just someday, but today. He is using it now. In ways you may not see. In places you cannot reach. In hearts you haven't met. He is faithful to complete what he begins. And he has not forgotten you. Even in the pain, you are being shaped into the reflection of his glory. And one day, when you look back, you will see it clearly. Jesus was there. Always. Sometimes the greatest miracle isn't that the pain goes away, but that we're still standing in the middle of it. Still breathing, still believing, still choosing to get up. Even when everything inside us wants to give up. That's not weakness. That's courage. That's strength born from grace. Jesus never said the road would be easy. He said it would be narrow. He said there would be trouble. But he also said, "Take heart, I have overcome the world." Your suffering is not a signal of defeat. It is evidence that your story is still being written. There is something beautiful unfolding. Even here, you may not feel strong enough. That's okay. His strength is made perfect in weakness. You may not feel faithful. That's okay. He remains faithful still. The pain is not the end. It's a passage. And Jesus walks every step with you. He knows what it means to be abandoned, to feel the weight of grief, to be pierced by betrayal. He knows the kind of pain that makes you question everything. And He meets you there, not with rebuke, but with presence. You are not forgotten in your pain. You are being formed, not into perfection, but into depth, into tenderness, into strength forged by mercy. Even in the most painful chapters of your story, Jesus is planting seeds of purpose. And in time, those seeds will bloom. You may not be able to imagine it now, but one day, the darkness will break, the light will return, and you will see what your pain produced. You will see the depth of your compassion, the wisdom in your scars, the gentleness in your strength. You will see that you were never alone. And you will say, He was with me all along. So keep going, even if it's slow, even if it's quiet, even if it's messy. There is no shame in the pace of healing. There is no failure in the presence of sorrow. There is only grace. Grace that meets you in the middle. Grace that carries you forward. Grace that refuses to let go. Because Jesus never lets go. He does not discard the broken. He gathers them. He blesses them, He breaks them, and He multiplies them. Your pain is part of that sacred process. It's not the final word. It's not the full picture. It's the soil where resurrection begins. So take heart. Your pain has a purpose. And the one who gave His life for you is using every piece to form something holy. What if the very thing you're trying to survive is the very thing that will bring you closest to Him? What if the nights you thought would break you are actually the ground where intimacy is grown? God does not allow pain because He delights in watching you suffer. He allows it because He sees what it will birth, because He knows the version of you that will rise from the ashes. Jesus does not rush you through the valley. He walks with you through it. He knows the slow pace of healing, the holy work of rebuilding, the sacred silence between cries. And He is present in all of it. He is not trying to fix you in a moment. He is shaping you for eternity. He is using what hurt you, not to shame you, but to reveal something deeper. He is teaching you to love more purely, to see more clearly, to trust more fully. And when you feel like it's all too much, when your chest is tight with fear or sorrow, remember, He is the God who carried His own cross. And He will carry you. You don't have to understand it all. You don't have to know the outcome. You only have to lean in, rest in Him, breathe in His nearness. Because He is closer than the pain, closer than the fear, closer than the ache. He is the healer who sits with you before He fixes you. The teacher who weeps with you before He teaches you. The Savior who stays with you through every step. And He says again, your pain has a purpose. Let the words settle into the deepest places. Let them soak into the wounds that still ache. Because they are not empty. They are not in vain. They are the invitation to a greater healing, to a deeper love, to a transformation that will leave you glowing with grace. You will not always feel broken. You will not always be in this chapter. But what you carry from it will mark you with mercy. Others will see it. They will see the kindness forged through suffering, the gentleness born of surrender, the resilience crafted in the quiet. And they will know, you have walked with Jesus through the fire. You are not being punished. You are being purified, not for pain's sake, but for His glory, and for the good of others who will one day hear your story and find hope. Because the pain you've lived through is becoming the path someone else will walk out of darkness. And that is purpose. Pain may visit your story, but it will not have the final word. There is a deeper narrative unfolding, one written in love, carried by grace, and sealed in blood. The story of redemption, the story of Jesus shaping beauty from what once felt unbearable. He sees what you've walked through. The quiet struggles, the unseen battles, the nights no one else knows about. He sees it all, and He is not distant. He is present. You may not feel it yet. You may question why, but questions don't disqualify your faith, they deepen it. Doubt doesn't remove His presence, it invites you to experience it more truly. He isn't offended by your ache. He meets you there. And when you cannot carry yourself, He carries you. When you cannot pray, He intercedes. When you cannot believe, He holds on anyway. This is grace. This is the gospel, that God Himself steps into the pain of humanity, not to erase it, but to redeem it. You will emerge from this, not untouched, but transformed. There will be scars, but they will shine. There will be memories, but they will no longer haunt you. There will be stories, and they will set others free. Because purpose isn't found in escaping the pain. It's found in meeting Jesus there. And when you meet Him there, you discover something deeper than ease. You discover intimacy. You learn to hear His voice in the silence. You learn to feel His hand even when you cannot see the way. You learn that healing is not always a moment, but a journey. And on that journey, you are never alone. So trust this slow work of grace. Trust that the same Jesus who turned the cross into a crown can turn your pain into purpose. He doesn't waste your suffering. He transforms it into something holy. And in time, you will rise, not with bitterness, but with blessing, not with shame, but with strength, not with regret, but with radiance. Because every step has been shaped by the hand of the one who knows the end from the beginning. And He says again, your pain has a purpose. Let it echo louder than fear. Let it carry you through the shadows. Let it remind you, you are never walking through this alone. Not now, not ever. Sometimes the most profound transformation begins in the places where we feel most undone. When we stop striving. When we stop pretending. When we sit in the ashes and whisper, I don't understand, but I trust you still. That whisper is worship. That surrender is strength. That brokenness is holy ground. Jesus does not love you less in your pain. He draws nearer. He becomes more real. He becomes more personal. And in that closeness, you begin to change, not from effort, but from encounter. You begin to see that even pain has a path. Even sorrow can sing. Even wounds can worship. You begin to realize that comfort was never the goal, Christlikeness was. And Christ was a man of sorrows, familiar with grief, yet filled with glory. So if you feel broken, you're not far from Him, you're right where He loves to dwell. In the humble, in the contrite, in the surrendered. This is the place where purpose is born. This is the place where stories begin to breathe. This is the place where grace becomes more than a word, it becomes your lifeline. You are being remade, not into who you were before the pain, but into someone deeper, wiser, stronger, someone who carries light into dark places, someone who bleeds hope for others, someone who walks with others through the same valleys, and whispers, I've been there, too, and I promise, there is life on the other side. That is the power of purpose. It doesn't erase the pain, but it gives it weight. It gives it meaning. It gives it redemption. You may not be able to see it all yet, but Jesus does. And He is faithful. Faithful to restore. Faithful to rebuild. Faithful to redeem every page of your story. So let this moment be holy. Let your pain be honest. Let your tears be sacred. And let His whisper hold you. Your pain has a purpose. Because He is with you in it. And He never lets go. He never promised a life without pain. But He did promise that pain would never be pointless. He promised that every tear would be remembered. That every cry would be heard. That every breaking would be met with His presence. This is not just comfort, it's covenant. The covenant of a God who chose to enter suffering, who chose the cross, who chose rejection, and injustice, and abandonment, so that when you face those very things, you would never have to face them alone. Jesus sits beside you in the waiting room. He walks next to you in the courtroom. He holds you in the quiet when no one else notices the ache. He surrounds you when the answers don't come. And he whispers still, your pain has a purpose. Because it's not about avoiding suffering. It's about being refined through it. It's about becoming more whole. Not by escaping what hurts, but by walking through it with him. He knows how to carry sorrow. He knows how to redeem broken dreams. He knows how to speak life into places you thought were buried for good. And he is doing that even now. You don't have to feel it to believe it. You don't have to see the outcome to trust the process. You only need to remember who is walking with you. The one who wept at the tomb. The one who sweat blood in the garden. The one who forgave while bleeding. The one who rose and still bears the scars, not to shame you, but to show you what redemption looks like. He carries your scars too. He holds your pain as precious. And he transforms it into something more beautiful than you could ever imagine. So do not despise this part of the journey. Do not run from the refining. Do not believe the lie that pain means you are distant from God. It may mean he is closer than ever, doing something deep, something eternal, something holy, and when the story is told, your pain will not be the end. It will be the passage that led you to the presence of Jesus. And in that presence, everything changes, even pain, even you. So breathe, not because everything is fixed, but because you are held. You don't need all the answers today. You don't need the full picture. You only need this truth carved deep into your soul: Jesus is with you. And your pain has a purpose. It's easy to believe in purpose when we look back and see what the pain produced. But what about when you're still in the middle of it? When the ending hasn't come, and the light hasn't broken through? That's when faith becomes real. That's when surrender is forged. That's when you begin to live not by sight, but by trust. And in that place, Jesus does his most sacred work. He takes your weakness and holds it in his strength. He takes your weeping and hides it in his heart. He takes your waiting and weaves it into worship. He takes your pain, and yes, he gives it purpose. Not a purpose built on performance. Not a purpose measured by results. But a purpose shaped by love. You are not failing because it still hurts. You are not broken beyond repair because healing is slow. You are not disqualified because some days your only prayer is "help me." He hears that. He honors that. He enters that. And he stays. His presence is not a reward for perfection. It's a gift for those who need him most. That means you. That means now. So lift your head, even if your heart is heavy. Look again, not at what you've lost, but at who walks with you through it. The man of sorrows. The Savior who bled. The King who conquers. The friend who stays. And let this truth rise in your spirit like breath returning to your lungs. Jesus says, your pain has a purpose. It is not the end of you. It is the forming of something sacred within you. So let the refining do its work. Let the grace meet you where you are. Let the hope slowly rise again. Because even here, even now, even in this, you are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are not beyond healing. You are becoming. You are being shaped. And you are being loved through every moment of it. This is not the conclusion. It is the beginning of something deeper. A life touched by suffering. And transformed by Jesus. Your scars will shine. Your pain will preach. Your redemption will ripple into lives you haven't yet met. So hold on, not because it's easy, but because he is faithful. And he's not finished with you yet. One day, you'll look back and see how every broken season was a chapter of mercy. You'll trace the lines of your scars and realize they became your testimony. You'll hear the cries of others and find that your compassion was born from your own tears. And you'll see that the pain, though never welcomed, became the soil of your purpose. Because Jesus wastes nothing, not the betrayal, not the failure, not the sorrow that makes no sense, not the long wait. He uses it all. He shapes your spirit in the middle of it. He prepares you for things that only deep pain could ready you for. And through it, you become someone who understands. Someone who can sit in silence with the suffering and say, I don't have all the answers, but I know what it means to bleed and still believe. That's who you are becoming. You are not being broken down. You are being built, with gentleness, with eternity in mind, with hands that still bear the wounds of His love. This is not the end of your usefulness. It's the refining of your anointing. It's the shaping of your voice. It's the awakening of your authority, not from platform, but from presence. The presence of Jesus in the fire. The presence of Jesus in the empty places. The presence of Jesus in the sacred silence where pain finally becomes purpose. So if you've come to the edge, if you feel like quitting, if you started to believe the lie that this is too much, pause, breathe, remember who walks with you. Remember the cross. Remember the garden. Remember the tomb that did not stay closed. And know this: Jesus is still writing. He is still redeeming. He is still reaching for you. And when the story is complete, it will not be marked by defeat, it will be crowned with glory. Because He is faithful to finish what He started. And He started something in you. Your pain is part of it, but it is not the whole. Your purpose is unfolding, and it is beautiful, even here, even now. Let this be the anthem that echoes when everything else falls silent. Your pain has a purpose. Because your life is in the hands of the one who turns death into resurrection. Not all things are good, but in His hands, all things work together for good. Even the loss, even the longing, even the parts of your story you'd rather erase. He redeems it all. He carries it all. He speaks life through it all. And one day, when the shadows lift and the fullness of His glory breaks through, you will see what He saw all along: a heart purified by suffering, a soul anchored in love, a life shaped for His glory. So do not fear the tears. Do not rush the process. Do not shrink back from the season you didn't choose. He is with you. And that changes everything. It may not change the pain today, but it changes what the pain means. It means something is being born, something that will outlast the sorrow, something that will echo into eternity. So rise again, not because you are strong, but because He is, and He is not finished. He never wastes what wounds you. He never abandons you in the middle. He walks with you, and through every valley, every fire, every hidden night, His whisper remains. Your pain has a purpose. And your story is not over. It's just getting good. So even if today feels like the middle of the storm, even if your hands are trembling and your eyes are heavy with tears, do not give up. Do not let go of the truth that has carried generations before you. Jesus is not just watching. He is working. He is not distant. He is dwelling within you. He is not done. The fire you're walking through is not consuming you. It is refining you. The weight you're carrying is not crushing you. It is pressing out a new oil. A deeper worship, a more tender heart. And your story, yes yours, is going to reach places you never imagined. Through the cracks of your pain, His light will shine. Through the weakness you thought disqualified you, His strength will be revealed. This is the upside-down kingdom, where sorrow births joy, where mourning becomes dancing, where graves are transformed into gardens. You will not only survive, you will shine. You will not only endure, you will overcome. You will not only heal, you will carry healing in your hands. Because you've been with Jesus in the place of pain. You've been held in the secret place of sorrow. You've been remade by mercy. And now, Your life will carry the fragrance of His faithfulness. So let this final word rest deep in your soul. Your pain is not a mistake. Your process is not wasted. Your tears are not forgotten. You are being formed for something greater. Not later, now. In the hidden place. In the deep waters. In the long nights. Jesus is there. And He's saying again, your pain has a purpose. Let Him write the rest of your story. It will be worth every tear. Even in silence. Even in shadows. He is moving. Even when you feel stuck. You are growing. Even when you feel lost. He knows the way. And even when everything in you whispers, this cannot have meaning, He declares, I am making all things new. So lay down the weight of shame. Lay down the pressure to be okay. Lay down the belief that healing must be instant. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are in the hands of the potter. And He shapes slowly. He forms intentionally. He finishes fully. There will be beauty that comes from these ashes. There will be joy that rises after mourning. There will be resurrection, not just in eternity, but even now. In the way your soul begins to feel again. In the way your laughter returns. In the way you begin to dream again. That, too, is purpose. That, too, is healing. So let the breath return to your spirit. Let hope rise, even if it's only in a whisper. Let your heart open to the possibility that this is not a waste, it is a weaving. A holy weaving of sorrow and grace, of ache and glory, of tears and triumph. And when the tapestry is finished, it will declare not your pain, but His faithfulness. Your story will shine, your life will testify, your wounds will witness, because Jesus was there in all of it. And through Him, your pain has a purpose. Always. This is the whisper that will follow you through every chapter. You are not what you've been through. You are who you are becoming. And who you are becoming is radiant, resilient, rooted in love, formed by grace, healed by mercy, carried by the hands of the one who bled for you. So rise, even if slowly, believe, even if quietly, hope, even if tenderly, and trust, even if trembling, because the one who overcame the grave is walking you through this moment. Not to destroy you, but to define you. Not to crush you, but to commission you. You are chosen. You are beloved. You are being prepared for more than you can see. So cling to His promise like breath. Jesus says, your pain has a purpose. And when He speaks, nothing is ever wasted, not even this. So let the world rush. Let expectations scream. Let the noise rise and fall. You, stay here. Stay close to the one who knows you, who formed you, who understands the ache beneath the surface. Let Him remind you that your identity was never in your success, your progress, or your perfection. Your identity is in Him. In His eyes, you are whole. In His voice, you are known. In His hands, you are becoming. And in His purpose, your pain is not a burden, it's a vessel. It's the very thing He will use to bring hope to others. He wastes nothing, not your tears, not your scars, not your story, and certainly, not your pain. Jesus says, your pain has a purpose, now and always. And when the final page of this chapter turns, when you've walked through what once seemed impossible, you will look back and see it for what it was, not the end of your story, but the beginning of a deeper, truer, more beautiful becoming. He was with you every step. He is with you still. And He will be with you always. This is not just survival. This is sacred transformation. Because your pain is held. Your purpose is unfolding. And Jesus, He is faithful through it all. So when you rise tomorrow and the ache still lingers, remember what is true. You are not alone in this. You are not being punished. You are not abandoned. You are being refined. You are being drawn close. You are being reminded that your life was never meant to be built on what passes away, but on what remains. And what remains is Jesus. His voice over your life. His peace in your storm. His power in your weakness. His purpose in your pain. You don't need to have all the answers. You only need to know the one who walks with you through all of them. He will carry you through. Not around, but through. Because it is through that the roots grow deeper. It is through that the oil is pressed. It is through that the witness is born. And it is through that you will find joy again. Not the fragile joy of ease, but the unshakable joy of resurrection. So breathe. He is not finished. And your pain, it has a purpose. Forever and always. Let your heart rest here. You are seen. You are known. You are loved beyond measure. This pain is not random. This process is not pointless. It is the path to purpose. Not because the pain is good, but because God is. And He is with you, working through all of it, writing a story that will glorify Him and heal others. So hold on. Your breakthrough will come. Your healing will unfold. Your story will shine. Because Jesus says, your pain has a purpose. And His word never fails.